Chapter 517. Sean turned up his nose at Lady Richard and the rest of the family, so he couldn't care less about their devastating status. Right now, all he could think of was getting back to Westcliff as soon as possible, then visiting the finest doctor in the city to treat his erectile disorder. Lady Richard marched forward to plead with him again, but Sean shoved her away irritably and said, "That's enough, I need to pack my things now." End of discussion. Lady Richard's face turned pale. "No, Sean, you can't just leave us like this. You know how we are right now. Without your help, we'll go bankrupt." Then, she winked at Olivia. Olivia stuck herself on Sean's arm and pleaded, "Sean, Grandma is right. Besides, didn't you say that you want to invest $90 million in our company? You only gave us $20 million so far, it's not enough to solve our crisis." Then, she added, "Why don't you give us the remaining $70 million to keep the company afloat? Perhaps we'll already be up and moving when you return to Oris Hill." The rest of the family looked at him expectantly and desperately. Sean could leave whenever he wanted, but he had to give them the money before he left, otherwise, the Richard family would be done for. Harold marched forward too. "Sean, everyone in the upper-class circle in the city knows that my sister is your lover. Her reputation is somewhat tarnished now. If you go, she will be a laughingstock." They didn't expect that Sean would be enraged by their remarks. He cursed, his face as gloomy as a thundercloud. "Money, money, money. All you can think of is money. You should be grateful that I didn't take back the $20 million. How dare you still ask me for more money? Don't make me laugh." Lady Richard didn't want to give up. She squeezed out a few drops of tears and said, "Sean, please, we really need your help." The rest of the family pleaded with him at the same time, like the group of beggars by the street. Sean was annoyed. He slapped Lady Richard across the face and growled, "Get the hell away from me. If you dare say another word, I'll ask my lawyer to seek compensation from you and ask you to refund the $20 million. Deal with it." Lady Richard covered her reddened face and fell silent. If they really irritated him to the point where he sought legal action for the $20 million, they couldn't produce the money now. So, she could only sigh in despair and watched as Sean carried his bag and left with his bodyguards. After Sean left, the 5 members of the Richard family fell into a silent and sad ambience. Lady Richard was upset, Harold and Olivia were at a loss, while Harold's father and mother exchanged sinister glances. Actually, Harold's father still has some savings in his hands. He had about $15 million of saving in his account, and the additional $10 million that Sean had given Olivia as her pocket money. They planned to use the $25 million to buy a house. The money could be used to pay off most of Richard Group's debts, but he wouldn't want to do that. The current Richard Group was a bottomless pit. Using his money to pay off the debts was like throwing his money down the drain, for he would not get any returns from it. Why should he do it then? Anyway, the company was registered under Lady Richard's name, so she was responsible for the debts too. If the court took action for the failure of debt settlement, they would only seize her villa and personal funds and would not include him. He could use the $25 million as his pension fund. He cleared his throat and said, intending to toss the problem back to Lady Richard, "Mom, we still owe a lot of money to the banks and suppliers. What can we pay them with if they come knocking at our door? I'm afraid that this house will be seized and auctioned by the bank. You'd better prepare yourself for the worst-case scenario."